There's a certain kind of silence a woman has, the kind that speaks louder than words ever could, because when she secretly fantasizes about you, she doesn't announce it. She doesn't confess it. She leaks it in pieces, in stolen glances, in nervous laughter, in the way she suddenly forgets how to breathe when you walk into the room. And the crazy part, most men never notice. Most men think she's just being friendly, just being polite. They have no idea she's imagining things she'd never dare say out loud. Welcome to Psychology of Desire, where we decode the unspoken side of attraction. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe because once you understand how desire really works, you'll never see women the same again. Now listen carefully. There are 7 signs that reveal when she's not just attracted to you, but actively, secretly, privately fantasizing about you. And the first one is hidden in her eyes. A woman who fantasizes about you will look at you in a way that doesn't match her words or her tone. She might pretend to be calm, composed, even indifferent, but her eyes betray her. They linger. They soften. They look away too quickly or hold on too long. There's a different energy in her gaze, a desire she's trying to control. Sometimes she'll stare when she thinks you're not looking. Other times she'll avoid eye contact completely because if she meets your eyes, she knows you'll feel it, and that scares her. See, fantasy is vulnerable. It exposes what she wants but can't admit, and you become the one person who makes her nervous for no logical reason. So ask yourself, why does her voice change around you? Why does she fidget, touch her hair, adjust her clothes, or suddenly act different than she does with everyone else? Because the body reveals what the mind won't say. Real desire is never loud. It's subtle, electric, unplanned. A woman who fantasizes about you will treat your presence like gravity. She keeps getting pulled back, even if she tries to hide it. And here's something even deeper. When she fantasizes about you, she becomes curious about your world. Not politely curious, but emotionally invested. She remembers little details you barely recall saying. She asks about your life, your routine, your habits, the things you enjoy, not because she's being friendly, but because she's mentally placing herself inside those moments with you. She imagines what it would feel like to share your space, your time, your bed. So she collects clues, your scent, your smile, your voice, your intentions. The more she imagines, the more she craves clarity. Is there a chance? Does he feel something too? Would he ever see me the way I see him? This is where dark psychology steps in. When she fantasizes about you, her mind starts constructing scenarios, not real ones, but emotional ones. She imagines you getting close. She imagines what your touch would feel like. She imagines the conversation that finally crosses the line from innocent to intimate. And because fantasy is dangerous, she becomes protective of her feelings. She might act colder, shorter, harder to read. Because women will often hide their desire behind a mask when they feel exposed. So if she suddenly seems distant, but her behavior doesn't match her distance, if she pulls away emotionally, but her body still reacts to you, you're not losing her, you're affecting her. A woman fantasizing about you will always show contradiction. Her logic tries to stay in control. Her emotions betray her, and whether she knows it or not, you've already entered her mind. When a woman secretly fantasizes about you, her conversations change in a way that almost feels accidental, but nothing about it is accidental. She starts imagining herself in your life before anything even happens. So the second sign is simple but incredibly powerful. She creates tiny opportunities to connect with you. You'll notice she messages you about the most random things, a song, a meme, something that reminded her of you. She'll ask questions she doesn't really need the answer to because the conversation was the goal, not the question. She wants access to you emotionally, mentally, privately. And pay close attention to how she reacts to your replies. If you answer quickly, her mood shifts. If you take long, she overthinks. She's invested more than she'll ever admit. Women don't risk emotional energy on men they don't care about. If she's showing up for you consistently, it's because she feels something she's trying hard not to reveal. But here's where it gets darker. The moment she starts fantasizing about you, she becomes territorial in silence. Not jealous in a loud, obvious way, but subtle. If you mention another woman, her tone changes. Her replies get shorter, colder, sharper. She suddenly gets busy or pulls away for no reason. But the truth is, she's imagining losing something she never even had. That's what fantasy does. It makes you important before reality ever catches up. And she hates that she cares. A woman secretly fantasizing about you will also do something most men never notice. She subconsciously tries to impress you. Not by flaunting herself, not by begging for attention, but in quiet ways. She starts dressing better when she knows she'll see you. She fixes her hair. She checks her reflection when you walk past. She laughs at your jokes a little longer than necessary. She opens up emotionally in small doses, giving you pieces of her story, her struggles, her fears, because she wants you to see her, not just look at her. Every woman knows that attraction can be physical, but fantasy is emotional. If she lets you in emotionally, even just a little, you're no longer just a guy. You're someone she trusts, someone she imagines a future with, even if that future never leaves her mind. Here's another psychological clue. She remembers everything. Your favorite food, your go-to drink, how you like your coffee, the name of a childhood pet you mentioned once and forgot about. Most people hear to respond. A woman who fantasizes about you hears to keep you. She stores pieces of you the way someone protects a secret. And if you pay attention, her body language exposes what her words hide. She positions herself near you even when the room is crowded. She angles her body toward you. Her feet point at you. Her shoulders soften. Human instinct betrays human control. Attraction is easy to hide. Fantasy is impossible because fantasy doesn't live in her words. It lives in her reactions. When you compliment her, she glows in a way she can't disguise. When you tease her, she blushes. When you look at her too long, she forgets how to breathe. You become a trigger, a distraction, a daydream she can't switch off, even when she pretends she doesn't care. And the most powerful sign of all, she imagines what would happen if you finally made a move. She won't tell you. She won't confess it, but everything she does, every message, every glance, every nervous reaction is a quiet whisper of the thought she keeps locked inside. There's a moment every man overlooks, a detail so small it feels meaningless, but to her, it's everything. When a woman secretly fantasizes about you, she starts comparing every other man to you quietly, internally, subconsciously. That's the third sign. She used to talk about other guys casually. Now she doesn't. Or, if she does, it's different. She'll mention someone, then instantly downplay him. Oh, he's just a friend. Yeah, he's nice, but honestly, I don't really see him that way. Why? Because her mind has already chosen you. Every other man becomes background noise. Every other compliment feels empty compared to the attention she really wants from you. And if another woman likes you, watch her reaction. She won't yell. She won't confront, but her silence will tell the truth. A woman can pretend she's indifferent, but she can't hide the storm in her eyes when she feels replaced. This is where her fantasy becomes emotional, because in her mind, she's already been close to you. She's already pictured what it would feel like to be the one you choose, the one you kiss, the one you protect, the one you say goodnight to. And that's where sign number 4 appears. She imagines you not with who you are right now, but with the version of you she sees beneath the surface. She sees your potential, your strength, your flaws, your scars. She looks at you with the kind of understanding most people never earn. Because when a woman fantasizes, she doesn't just want your body, she wants your story. She becomes emotionally curious. She asks deeper questions, not surface level, not small talk, but questions that touch your life, your pain, your dreams. What do you really want? Are you happy? What scares you the most? That's not friendship. That's attachment forming in silence. And here's the psychological twist. She begins to tailor her behavior around you. If you like a certain style, she wears it more. If you love a certain music, she listens to it. If you mention a food you enjoy, she suddenly has always loved it too. She's not lying, she's aligning, not to manipulate you, but because fantasy pulls her closer to the version of herself she thinks you'd want. She's shaping herself to fit into your world without you asking. And that's what makes this so powerful. Because women don't change for men they don't care about. They don't adjust. They don't adapt. They don't try. But with you, everything is different. And it gets even more revealing if you ever withdraw, if you take a little longer to reply, if you become distant, if you seem uninterested. She feels it harder than she should. She thinks about it, overanalyzes it, blames herself for it. That's the emotional side effect of fantasy. You become a quiet obsession. She wants to know what you're thinking, who you're talking to, whether she still matters, but she'll never ask because asking exposes desire. So instead, she sends a small message to check the temperature. A soft joke, a subtle question, something innocent but intentional. That's her way of saying, are you still here? Do I still matter? Is the door still open? And if you reply warmly, she lights up in a way she can't hide, because to her, you're not just another man. You're the possibility she's secretly holding on to. There's a moment when a woman's fantasy stops being harmless and starts becoming emotional danger for her. Because sign number 5 is subtle, silent, and almost impossible to fake. She becomes nervous around you in a way she isn't with anyone else. Not awkward nervous, not shy nervous, a different kind. The kind that comes from wanting you, but not wanting you to notice. Her voice shifts. Her breathing changes, her sentences get shorter or longer or scattered. She might talk a lot to hide the tension or barely speak because every word feels risky. Her hands betray her. She plays with her hair, touches her neck, fixes her clothes, looks anywhere but directly at your face when you compliment her because full eye contact might expose everything. You'll notice this most when you get physically close. A simple touch on her hand, her back, her shoulder, and she freezes for a second. Women don't freeze for men. They don't feel something for. And if she pulls back, it's not rejection. It's fear of how much she reacts to you. It's the kind of reaction that only comes from imagination. Because once a woman has fantasized about you, your presence becomes overwhelming. Your voice feels different, your smile hits deeper, your touch burns longer. You didn't change. Her mind did. And here's where the darkest part appears. She starts to hide her attraction. A woman fantasizing about you doesn't always get closer. Sometimes she gets quieter, colder, harder to read, not because you did something wrong, but because she's losing control. Her logic tells her to act normal, her emotions betray her, so she avoids eye contact, responds slower, pretends she's not affected, but her body doesn't lie. She still reacts when you say her name, still smiles when you walk into the room, still listens to every word you say, even when she pretends she doesn't care. You'll also notice something else. She gets more vulnerable with you than with others. Not all at once. Piece by piece, a personal story, a fear, a memory she doesn't share with strangers. Women don't open up emotionally just for fun. They open up when they feel seen. She wants to know if you'll protect her secrets or break them. Because fantasy for a woman isn't just physical. It becomes emotional storytelling. She imagines being safe with you, wanted by you, chosen by you. And that's why small moments mean everything to her. If you compliment her, she remembers it for days. If you notice something about her that others don't, she'll think about it all night. If you smile at her at the right moment, she'll replay it like a scene from a movie. She feels you more intensely than she shows you. But the real psychological sign, she starts experiencing jealousy toward your attention, even if she has no right to. If you're warm to another woman, she suddenly goes distant. Her tone changes. She becomes unpredictable, not because she wants to cause drama, but because she's emotionally attached to a possibility she's terrified to admit. And when another woman gets too close to you, she doesn't need to speak. Her silence says everything. Fantasy makes her protective. Protective makes her emotional. And emotional makes her vulnerable. She'll hide it, fight it, deny it. But every reaction tells the truth. You affect her more than she wants, more than she planned, more than she can control. There's a final sign, one most men never recognize because it doesn't look like attraction at first. It looks like confusion. Sign number 7, she starts imagining what it would be like to lose you before she ever has you. When a woman fantasizes about you, her brain creates 2 stories at once. The dream of being with you and the fear of never getting that chance. So she becomes more emotional than the situation logically allows. If you compliment another woman, she feels it. If you pull away, she overthinks it. If you go silent, her heart drops in a way she can't explain. Because in her mind, you're already someone important. And here's the most intense part. She creates alternate futures in her head. She imagines the night you finally make a move, the moment your lips meet hers, the first time she falls asleep on your chest, the feeling of being the one you choose above everyone else. But she also imagines the opposite. You meeting someone else, you losing interest, you moving on before she ever said a word. That's why she acts strange sometimes, one day warm, one day distant, one day confident, one day guarded, because she's living in the space between desire and fear, wanting you but terrified of wanting too much. And that's the deepest psychological truth. A woman who fantasizes about you will never treat you like just a friend, even if she pretends she does. Her eyes will soften, her body will react, her emotions will betray her. She'll try to hide it. She'll try to stay composed. She'll try to act normal. But fantasy is louder than self-control. She doesn't crave your attention. She craves your choice, your intention, your presence. Because there's a difference between a man she likes and a man she imagines. And if you're in her thoughts when she falls asleep, if she smiles at her phone because of you, if she replays conversations in her head, she's already yours in ways she hasn't admitted out loud. So pay attention not to what she says, but to what she tries not to say. That's where the truth hides. And if you've been watching this and someone came to mind, trust your instinct, because women don't fantasize about men without reason. You left an imprint on her. Somewhere in her mind, there's a version of you she can't let go of. This is psychology of desire. If you learned something today, don't forget to subscribe, turn on notifications, and join us for the next video.